And all kidding aside here, Joe, I've known Joe since 1999. And I think one of the interesting things is when I knew Joe, you weren't doing any photography. I love the story you tell about how you got into it.
I was doing radio for 25
Absolutely.
years. And the demise basically of the radio industry and the consolidation of all the stations and the dismissal of 40% of on-air staff just had me needing to find something else to fall back on. And I bought a camera to take on my honeymoon 10 years ago.
I'm sure your wife appreciated that.
Yeah, I mean, I bought an expensive camera. I'd probably taken maybe 100 pictures before that my whole life. But I just bought this expensive camera to go to Cancun, and we were going to go to the Mayan ruins, and I wanted to get some decent pictures. And I was working with a lot of bands, local bands, with Michael Stanley and a lot of other people. I just started taking my camera to shows.
Because before you were doing photography, you were recording a lot of bands.
Yeah, I was doing recording with the radio, and I also worked with bands doing sound, and worked crew jobs and a lot of other types of stuff where I was just still going to a lot of shows. And I just started bringing this new camera that I had and posting some of the pictures online, and before long people were asking to pay me. I'm like, I can go out and make money doing this? Sure. And 10 years later, this is what you have.
And this is your first exhibit. You're going to have another one in Akron?
Yeah, another one in Akron at Art Latte on Merriman Road, right down there in the valley by Blossom.
Fantastic.
And that's going to be going through July and August, I believe.
So I'll have to be asking for your autographs then.
Yeah. This one closes at the end of July.
Okay.
Here up in Cleveland at the Space Rock Gallery.
And then straight to Akron. Fantastic. Why don't you show us some of your favorite pictures here?
Yes, well, of course, by looking at my shirt, these 3 Rush photos here are some of my favorites. This canvas here of Geddy Lee, I especially love.
And this, you actually had this put on canvas?
Yeah, I had that put on canvas. These were taken at Quicken Loans Arena last October, the last time they were in town. So they're really recent shots. And that's drummer Neil Peart and Alex Lifeson and my favorite, Geddy Lee.
Now there's a guy, I think he's from, what, New Jersey?
New Jersey, Mr. Bruce Springsteen. That's also from his last Cleveland show at the Q. And up here we have Neil Diamond. That was from a year or so ago at the Q. Stevie Nicks and Rod Stewart, they played together at the Q. Okay. Stevie was great, did a lot of her solo stuff, a lot of Fleetwood Mac stuff, and Rod Stewart was fantastic. And he doesn't tour that much.
Yeah.
And he didn't make it for the Rock Hall inductions when they had it in Cleveland because he was sick when the Faces were inducted.
Okay.
So they had the guy from Simply Red sing, so it was really great to see him in Cleveland and be able to photograph it. It was awesome.
I think most people would recognize...
Don't get much more rock and roll than Kiss. That's from their show at Blossom last summer.
Very, very recognizable.
Yeah, real big thrill to shoot them. I've been a fan since I was a kid, and again, just iconic. So being able to shoot that show was great, as well as Rob Halford from Judas Priest here. Another just iconic band that I've loved since I was a little kid, so it was a lot of fun shooting that. Got Slash from Guns N' Roses up there. Canadian band they did a really great documentary on called Anvil. That's from House of Blues in Cleveland. We have Joe Walsh and Kenny Wayne Shepherd. They played together at Cleveland State Theater, right downtown there at Playhouse Square.
For each artist, there's different requirements where and when you can shoot, right?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's first 3 songs, sometimes it's first 10 minutes. There's different requirements on where you can stand to shoot. Every show is different. So that's one of the things I love about it is even though, like at House of Blues where that shot was taken, I've shot 100 shows there, but every show is different because you never know what you're going to do, what the lights are, what the requirements are. So you just kind of go with the flow.
And how many pictures do you take?
It depends. Probably 400 to 800 maybe on an average.
Who's the one easiest to work with that you've had?
Most of the bigger shows are really easy to work with when you have good lights and good stage. I mean, like this Judas Priest and Kiss, and like Bon Jovi here. That's from the Q. When you have good lighting, it's extremely easy. Bad lighting or no face lighting really creates a lot of problems. You can have bands that have 10,000 LED lights behind them and brilliant lights up in the air, but if there's not lights coming on their faces are completely dark, and I can't use a flash, so that's the one thing that's hard to compensate for a lot of times.
Everybody knows Barry Manilow.
That's from a recent show at Blossom. Really still sounds great. Probably approaching 70 years old, he sounds amazing.
How many times have you got to shoot Barry?
That's the only time.
The only time?
Yeah.
And you took your mother?
Yes, and a lot of my metal friends make fun of me because I shoot a lot of metal shows too, and I'm basically a metalhead, but I love Barry Manilow. So I get a lot of jokes for that.
Brittany?
That's Britney Spears from the Q. I love that shot because it looks like she's on the beach more than it does. You can't even really tell that she's on stage at an arena like Quicken Loans Arena. Don't get much more rock and roll than Chuck Berry doing the duck walk.
Yes.
That's from the recent Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Chuck Berry benefit show that they did, or tribute show that they did, where they had a bunch of different artists and then Chuck closed out the show.
And Taylor Swift?
Taylor Swift, that's from her recent concert at the Q. Ted Nugent up there is from House of Blues a couple of years ago.
That's not a fisheye shot there.
Yeah, that's fisheye.
That is a fisheye.
Absolutely,
so
yeah.
Kind of ovals in.
Yeah, and it goes from corner to quarter. That's from Columbus Crew Stadium from Rock on the Range.
It's quite a crowd they have there.
Right before the one band, I don't even remember which band it was, got on stage, I was in front of the crowd barrier where the photographers are allowed to stand, and there was a little step there, and I just stepped up with my fisheye and just screamed, "Come on, mother effers!" The whole place just went crazy, and by the time security pulled me down, I got a couple of great shots. This is also that's from Rock on the Range, and the shot of Stained up here is from Rock on the Range. This one of Anthrax is from Rock on the Range. It's just basically like a 30-band, 3-day stadium show they have every summer in Columbus.
Who's this guy?
Michael Stanley.
And you worked with him at NCX?
Yeah, I was on the air with him at NCX, so when I started shooting, he would let me come shoot his shows, and I've been his photographer for the last 10 years and shot the majority of his shows through 10 years. And he really helped me get my feet off the ground, and it's great to still be working for him. Just one of the nicest guys in the biz. Great to work for.
A lot of other local artists that you do here.
Yeah, this wall here is also the local Wall of Shame. Pink Floyd tribute band Wish You Were Here up here that I've also worked with for the last 10 years. Bass player Yurok Sasinski is also bass player for Michael Stanley. He's been in Michael's band for about 20 years. Those are the two girls from Wish You Were Here, amazing singers Marla Brennan and Sharon McPherson Fox. Shock Paris, a Cleveland metal band, along with Cellbound down Shades of Remembrance. Destructor, just a bunch of local metal stuff, which I really shoot a lot of, just because that's kind of where my roots are.
Joe, I want to thank you for letting us come through, showing us and sharing with.
Thank you very much for coming up and for checking everything out. I appreciate it.
Now, they can find a lot of the pictures of these at your website.
At my website, joekleon.com. That's JOEKLEON.com.
And actually, when he has exhibits, they also sell prints of his. So if you see any of these that you really love, you got to come to his exhibits, wherever it is, whether it's here at Space Rock or in Akron.
Yeah, everything on the walls is for sale. If you buy anything during the Space Rock Gallery, you'll help out the Waterloo Alley Cat Project, which is a local animal charity, a nonprofit right here in this area of the gallery that really does a great job taking care of feral cats and spaying and neutering them and finding them homes, and they're a great organization.
And with that, also they can find out where your exhibits are by following you on Facebook and on your website.
Yeah, we'll be at Space Rock here till the end of July, and then for August and September we will move to Art Latte down in Akron right by Blossom, and that's easily found on Google. Just put in Art Latte and you'll find it. Great coffee shop, deli, and a really big gallery area.
And gallery.
We'll have some of these, and we'll also have some new stuff too, so it just won't be the same stuff.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you very much.